Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad that you were able to hop on Zoom there at the last second. This day just got away from me. Apologize for not offering a reminder sooner than, an hour before. It's just been so packed, and I'm glad to see you all on here, see names. And I appreciate you hopping on to this call. I'm going to actually go ahead and start, and of course, like as people join us, welcome them in. But I want to make sure that I honor everybody's time. And when I first set out to have this meeting, I thought, I'll just tell them a couple of things, and then we'll allow lots and lots of space for all of the burning questions. And as it turns out, I do have quite a few things to show you, but it's all, I try to make it all manageable because I know that there's a lot. So welcome back. Welcome back now. You are seeing your parents officially. And it's a really exciting time. Hard to believe that, your kids who were just babies a little, maybe like 2 weeks ago, or even sometimes I can say like it feels 2 years ago that our kids were so little babies, and now here they are, preparing for crossing the threshold at the end of this year into the next phase of life, which is just unbelievable and exciting, and also somewhat believable at times. But I appreciate you being here tonight. I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that your seniors have started working on since coming back to school at the beginning of this school year last week. They dove in. They were there are a lot of people in the building at this point. We've got a full house. So getting to classes has been the big challenge, and figuring out where you need to be and when. We had a few adjustments to our daily schedule, and so the daily routine is a little bit different, but yeah, everybody seems to be adjusting really well. So far, so good. So I'm going to start by just telling y'all that, it's been great to see all of your students, all of your kids. They look really happy. They're excited. They're ready for this school year. And when it comes to the college planning part, there are bits and pieces that they know really well. But sometimes, starting out the school year can feel a little bit like rocky, because maybe they're trying to figure out how to get their course changes figured out, if there are needs for that. There's a little bit of this, I don't know what I'm doing, if they're working on their applications, but that's what I'm here for, is to be able to guide them into the next steps. I reassure them all the time, like, I've got you. Don't worry, you're going to get an email invitation. We're going to work together. And then for those who do have questions, they're always welcome to come and ask. But we do, I often use this shark with waving fins around, because it's like that sometimes. And that's, again, why I'm here. So in the month of August, I'm gonna kind of break this down at first to talk about the things that we're going to work on in the month of August. Your seniors this is what they are doing. They are setting up application managers in their school links, which is our software platform that we use for college planning and organizing all of the applications, and then also tracking documents. There are a lot of documents that are sent to colleges along with students' applications, including counselor recommendations and school reports and school profiles and transcripts and letters of recommendation. So there are lots and lots of documents that flow through school links. So they're setting up that application manager slowly. These are all things, again, that they're going to be working on in the month of August. Another piece of the puzzle that we have been working on is the Common App. And not every single student uses the Common App, but many do. And I encourage students just to get familiar with it. So a lot of your kids are either setting up a Common App account and just starting to fill out certain portions of it. I always recommend that they start with profile, family, and then if they're feeling energetic, diving into activities. But they're working on that as well. And I'm definitely tracking their progress, and for some of them, maybe they started the Common App over the summer on their own, and that's fine. But some of them have not started on it yet, and that's also fine because of where we are right now in the school year. So trust that if your student has not started on it yet, they're not behind. It's okay. It's a slow marathon process, and so rest assured that we're going to get to work on it. But yeah, lots of setting up of those accounts and setting up different platforms. Some students have also participated in a writing workshop, which there were a couple of them held at the end of the school year and kind of beginning of summer. I just did another one last Saturday. I tried out today. I tried something new, which was to like steal away some students who have teacher's assistant periods and trying to get some of the workshop work done during that period, and it went pretty well. And I feel like that will be another option for students who maybe are not able to come to the workshop after school or on the weekend. So I'm really excited about that, because in the past it has needed to be, you know, at a different time outside of school hours, but I'm figuring it out to make sure that it is both the right fit for the students so that they're able to cultivate the stories and get what they need, but then also that it fits into all of our busy calendars. So that is another thing that we're working on in August. Eventually, the drafts that the seniors are coming up with when it comes to like from their writing workshop, and those can be for, you know, a personal statement, a Common App essay, any supplemental essay that they may have in their applications, or scholarship essays eventually. Those will go through a teacher and peer review process. And so that's something that will happen later on in August. Our wonderful English department here at the school has every year has stepped in and offered revisions and feedback, and it's been a really great thing for our students to get to experience the feedback from teachers that maybe they've had in the past, or maybe they currently are in their class. So that's coming up more towards the end of August and then into September. And then one deadline that we do have in August is the add drop deadline for senior courses. That deadline is next Friday, August 23rd. There are, you know, I've talked to a lot of seniors, and many of them are, you know, feel pretty comfortable and locked in with the way that their schedule looks right now. There are a few who are still working some things out. But just so you parents know, that is like the add drop deadline is the 23rd, and that's a Friday. So that is coming up as well. And, you know, I was talking with some seniors earlier today about how right now, in the place where we are in this process, it's really awkward and clunky the way that the software platforms interact or don't interact. And we're going to reach a point definitely after August 23rd, once their schedules are locked in. We're going to reach a point where everything flows magically and everyone will take a deep breath and say, oh, okay, this is what it was supposed to do. So I'm really looking forward to that. You know, of course for myself, but definitely for our students to be able to feel like, okay, everything is moving in the right direction, and there's a flow to this that feels a whole lot more normal than that clunky way that it was working before. The last thing that we're working on in August, and this will also go into the month of September some, are the teacher recommendation letters. So students will request them from their teachers and then complete a few clunky steps, like I said, to make sure that their teachers have the information that they need in order to compose and then upload a letter for each student, a recommendation letter for each student um, that will go, they'll be able to upload them and then the student can say, okay, I've got another thing checked off of my list. But yeah, we're going to continue working on that. Your group of, this group of seniors is really on top of this process. I was talking earlier today with several people about how I've never had so much traffic in the first couple of weeks of school, and it makes me really happy to see that they're ready and to follow their lead. I love it. I'm just thrilled for them, and mainly because of their curiosity and their energy right now. We really want to capitalize on that, because for a lot of people, especially last year, like this process was really long and drawn out, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to burn out. We got to, maintain our stamina through the marathon, and they're doing a great job right out the gate. They really are. So I want to tell you a little bit about the spaces and like places and time where all of those things can happen or are happening actually, and then of course will happen, because that's a lot, and that your students have a full schedule, and that question comes up for parents of like, when are you working on all of this? How are you making this happen? I don't see, maybe you don't see them working on it a ton at home, and that's because there are spaces within the school day that I have identified over the years and continue to keep cultivating those spaces for them to work on these things in school, just so that they have a little bit of support. So many questions are worded awkwardly, and it's nice to have either their peers or me there to be able to answer those questions. So I just want to make sure that you all know that there is space here at school, even with your student having a really packed schedule. So during the school day, the spaces in which we are learning we have lunch and learn, which is about 35 minutes, and that is Monday through Friday. That's every day, and it's accessible to all seniors. Any senior who wants to come and eat lunch with me in my classroom, they're welcome to work independently on their work for college planning if that's what they would like to do and they just need that space to devote to it. I fully support that. But also, if they want to work with guidance, I'm here. They also will have classmates in here, and it's usually a pretty small group. And that's kind of nice too for students, I think. The other window of time that we will have beginning on this coming, today is Tuesday, next Tuesday, a week from today, is during academic enrichment. That's a 35-minute span of time on Tuesdays after their first class in the morning. And so we'll have some space there to work on all of the things during that time. The apex period is a period that is great because it's a longer class period. It's usually the last period of the day in the afternoon. Your student either has that class period during what is called sixth or seventh period. And those are always the last class of the day, except for on Friday. Seventh, of course, is the last. But on Monday through Thursday, that is the last class of the day. And so I make time during Apex because we do sometimes need that 90 minutes and not just 35 minutes to really dig into something and work on something uninterrupted and really focus. That happens 3 days each week. And so far I have been trying that out, and there have been certain students who maybe have requested to do some work. And what I've done is I have, invited them in along with their peers who I identify are kind of in the same place, so that we can work together collaboratively or just alongside each other. And so that's another space in which, which is open to everybody, and as well as my office hours, which are the next one. That's every Wednesday. It's 30 minutes from 3 to 3:30. Any and all students are welcome. There's no, there's no rules around office hours, other than I'm not spending the night here. I'd like to go home at some point, but all students are always welcome to come to my office on Wednesdays after school, even if it's for just a quick question. I'm here, but I'll also dive into anything with them as well. So at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to put up a few other times that are open. These I have noticed are not they're not perfect for everyone. And the reason why is because there are some groups of students, depending on their class schedule, who are able to take advantage of these other spaces. If your senior is in seventh period AP study hall, that's another option that they're able to come and work with me. That's up to 90 minutes and 3 days a week. If your student is in work-based learning, again, that is at the end of the day, or in the last class of the day, sixth or seventh period, depending on which day. They're welcome to come and work with me. And then if your student has a teacher's assistant period, a TA period in their schedule, I am working a lot, especially like today and tomorrow, I'm working a lot with students who are TAs just to get some foundational work done with them, and then empowering them to be able to continue on a couple of sections on their own before they return. So those last three, they have an asterisk by them up there, just because not everybody's schedule includes these things. But if it is the case that your student or your senior does have these opportunities, they're totally welcome to come and work with me during that time. So I just want to make sure that you all knew when all of this could happen, especially because time is so precious. Speaking of, I'll move to the next slide. I want to tell you a little bit about what is happening in the month of September, because I think that, you've got a good idea of what we're doing in August, but it's kind of nice to have a heads up on what's ahead. We're going to be back here on Zoom on September 10th. Mark your calendars. Don't plan anything, because I know you want to hop back on here on the 10th of September to talk about what's next, to talk about the things, of course, that they're already working on, and then like any updates that come up. Hopefully not too much will have changed, but we will be making progress. There's actually a great opportunity for parents and students who are curious about creating a few more choices at this point in the year. There's a Memphis area college night, and that's from 6 to 8 p.m. on September 16th. It's at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. It's that wonderful new building, the new Sportsplex that is over by the Liberty Bowl. It's not called the Liberty Bowl. Sorry, everyone. That just shows how long I've lived here. It's over by the old fairgrounds. That also shows how long I've lived here. Near the Croc Center, we'll say that, on East Parkway. But fabulous event, wonderful college fair, reps from a bajillion colleges. I'll give you more details about that with like a list of the reps. I'll show that to you and later on in these slides. But we go every year, and it's fantastic. Students can go and they get excited when they see a friend there, and they're like, hey, let's go talk to these places, because it doesn't feel as crazy, going to talk to people, different reps, if you're there with a friend. And seniors sometimes find something, like they'll find a college and talk to a rep that they didn't know about before. And it's really helpful to be able to keep, open new doors, and then just like, keep the ones that you already had open if you have a line of communication with admissions anywhere. And then the last thing on the September calendar is that there's a deadline to request teacher recommendations. And this deadline is for any seniors who are applying early to college. Like our target deadline is October 25th. And so this deadline was set in alignment with that timeline of applying early by October 25th. I may have said this before, but I just want to remind y'all. So early applications are usually due at colleges November 1st or November 15th. They vary college to college. It's been my experience, and especially after last year's admissions cycle, that applying early is the right way for us to go. So I am recommending that this year. I don't know that that is the best fit for every single senior and every single family. Sometimes seniors are not ready to make that decision, or they don't want to rush that decision. And I hear that. And I do want to honor that when it like really truly is appropriate. But I do urge both students and all families to try to hit that target of October 25th as like the application deadline. And that is why this seems so early. Now the question is, can you request a teacher recommendation after September 24th? Yes, but it's likely that you are going to be applying what is often called like regular decision, which is a later timeline. Usually those applications are not due until December or maybe January. And so there's a little bit more time. We just want to make sure to get these things done in the first quarter in this window of time, because otherwise, if we draw it out for a really long time, your seniors are going to burn out. You guys, your parents are going to burn out. Like it's a long marathon process, and we want to try to do it, with ease, as much ease as possible. And again, throughout this month, we're going to continue working on applications and revising and going through with a fine-tooth comb, and same with the essays. We're going to make lots of revisions. And I'm going to jump ahead, and I know that this is like way far ahead into the future, but it's just kind of helpful, I think, for parents to know that in October, your senior is going to take the ACT again. And originally it was firmly scheduled for October 15th. There is a chance that it may be pushed to 1 week later, which would be October 22nd. And that is the uncertainty there is purely based on the spatial needs for the testing, and then also I think a response from the district. So we're going to know by the end of the week if it will be the 15th or the 22nd. No need to sign up for that test. This is at school. This is show up to school, seniors. You're going to come to school on time on that Tuesday. And rather than go to your morning classes, you're going to take the ACT. So there's no need for seniors to sign up for the ACT. It's a graduation requirement. Nothing, they don't have to do a thing, but come to school on time. Then on October 24th, which is a Thursday, we are going to offer the SAT here at school for students who are curious as to how they would do on that test. Sign up for the SAT is required, and that is because the school does not automatically that we don't automatically receive the test in the same way that we do the ACT, because that one is required. So we have to make sure that we order enough books or test booklets in advance. And that takes a little bit of time. I believe that in the past, Dr. Beeling usually, she's our testing coordinator. She usually orders, like maybe 1 or 2 extra if she's able to, but depending on, what the forms look like, we'll do our best. We'll do our best to accommodate. But once that sign up opens, believe me, I mean, I'm gonna blow it up in Parent Square, letting y'all know that that's open in case that's something that either your senior or you are curious about, and hopefully y'all can have a conversation to decide, whether or not to give it a try and just see what happens and see how they score. Again, October 25th is our target early application deadline. Again, that is not the perfect fit for every single family. But for those who are applying to a four-year college, because the application process can be rigorous, we're gonna hit that target. We're gonna maintain our stamina and hit that target, and then take a big, nice, deep breath. And then also right after the 25th, usually around that time, our school has a spirit week. Your senior will be able to enjoy that if that is still the case. And then of course, Halloween with friends. I mean, who can pass that up? But it's just nice to know that big project is out of the way. This is the biggest project that they do while they're here, or at least the longest, I believe. And then the last thing I'm throwing up there is a scholarship here in the state of Tennessee called Tennessee Promise, and it has an application that is actually open right now. So that's an exciting thing. I usually work on that application with students. So, you and your senior are welcome to fill that out. And you don't have any part of filling out that application, parents, other than maybe asking them to show it to you, say, hey, let's look at that together, Um, but you don't, it's not like the FAFSA form that is to come. You don't have to fill anything out. It's just the student. And so in the past, I have always filled them out with students here in my classroom and help them along, because every once in a while, there's like a technical hiccup. But yeah, y'all are welcome to look at it together. And I'll tell you more details about that Tennessee Promise scholarship. I think that might be the last thing on here. So here we are. Here's Tennessee Promise. Okay, so this scholarship is pretty dang amazing. It is open and available to every student who graduates from high school in the state of Tennessee. It's pretty fabulous. And truly, Tennessee is the volunteer state. They want to, of course, retain their young people and keep them here and keep them involved. And so, there are a few volunteer requirements to remain eligible for the scholarship. But it's not anything crazy. I believe it's something like 8 hours of volunteer work. But this scholarship completely pays for a 2-year program at the following Memphis institutions. And there are other institutions all over the state, but most relevant to the folks in this Zoom are the ones in Memphis. And that's Southwest Tennessee Community College, the Tennessee College of Applied Technology. Oh, y'all, my lights went out. How funny. Okay. Sorry, which is also called TCAT is the acronym. And then William Moore College of Technology, better known as Moore Tech. The students and I always joke about how William Moore College of Technology is the very formal name that its grandmother gave it, but it goes by Moore Tech. That application deadline is October 30th, and I'm going to make sure to work on that with students. But again, you're welcome to look at that together and to just explore what that could mean. It says up here that it pays for a 2-year program, and it does. But I also want to throw out there that for students, if you have an IEP or a 504 program and your senior is looking to go to one of these institutions, like there are accommodations that can be made, and even outside of like the 2 years. I know of a Crosstown graduate who is there right now who needed a little bit more time to take the required course load, and so I believe she'll finish like in 2.5 years, because in order to honor her plan. So just know that there are options within that if your student has an IEP or a 504. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place. I did talk about us taking the ACT here at school on either the 15th of October or the 22nd. And I just want to remind y'all that there is a free one-on-one ACT prep through Memphis Communiversity at the Benjamin Hooks Library. It's the main branch of the library. They gather on Sunday afternoons, and I believe they have like a couple of Zoom options. It is run by the wonderful Mason Sousa from St. Mary's Episcopal School, and he and his students who have an average ACT super score of 32 are there to help and help students improve their scores. If you're looking for some ACT prep in-house during academic enrichment on Tuesdays, Miss Norris is offering ACT prep. So that's really exciting. Generally, what we're seeing is that math is the challenge. That's the challenge for this girl right here as well. But math is the one that is challenging, and the one that, that's the edge that needs the most sharpening. So we're really thankful that Miss Norris has so much experience as a math teacher, and then also helping students with ACT prep. Okay. Memphis Area College Night, I'm just touching on that again. You can see this list on the screen, but they will add more colleges. They usually do about maybe like 2 weeks in, but like closer to the 2 weeks before the event. But again, it's Monday, September 16th at 6 to 8 at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. It's always exciting to see which colleges, hop on that poster early, and then the ones who show up a little later. So I really hope to see you there. But again, if you and your family feel pretty comfortable and confident with the schools that you're looking at and the college list, and you're like, we don't, that doesn't fit into our capacity right now, that's okay too. Our whole school community will be invited to this and notified about it, but you all get the first notification. So I hope to see you there. And then I just want to touch on this really quickly. FAFSA 25-26, these years that are up here, 25 and 26, it sounds way far into the future, but that is the application that eventually you will fill out. So, and when I say eventually, I mean, it's going to open, the last notification said that it was going to open December 1st. If you right now went onto the FAFSA website, you could create an account. You could access a FAFSA application, but it won't be the right one for your senior, because the application for your senior, and anyone in the United States who has a senior right now, the application for them does not open until December 1st. Oftentimes families will log into FAFSA and see that it says 2024, 2025 and think, oh, that's that. Let me go ahead. Oh, it's open. Let me fill it out. No need. There's no need. That's not the one for you. You're going to wait until 25-26 is available on December 1st. So again, no need to try to do it any sooner. Lots of families are thinking, and students too are thinking like, okay, I just want to check this off the list. I just want to get ahead. I just want to take a peek at this so that I'm familiar with it for when the time does come. Sure. I mean, there's just really no need. You really don't need to worry about it until it actually opens for you. And I will give you plenty and plenty of warning, and also explain in great detail what you will need in order to be able to fill it out. I can tell you from my experience of using it last year during the redesign, the actual redesign is fantastic. Like, the interface is brilliant. There are hot air balloons. It works. There are fewer questions, like mission accomplished in terms of design. But the rollout, the launch was obviously really, really challenging for everyone. And it seems like most things are worked out. I am really hopeful that we won't, have to deal with any of the delays that happened last year. And it really does seem like the hardest part is over. So I'm grateful for that, and also hopeful that that will be the case for you all as well, because I don't know how it could go backwards, because it has propelled forward so much in the past year. The other question that comes up is that parents and students remember and I live in Tennessee. There's a Hope Scholarship because I go to school in Tennessee. I'm graduating from a high school. Where do I apply for that? And actually, when you fill out the FAFSA and your senior fills out the FAFSA, that is the Hope Scholarship application, along with being the application for federal student aid. So you can check that off of your list of things that, you might be thinking, am I missing something? You're not. That is under the Hope Scholarship application is basically like under the umbrella of the FAFSA application. And again, this is not until December. And you will have plenty of preparation for that. And luckily, like I said, the redesign is great. So maybe you won't need so much preparation. But maybe just encouragement, because sometimes like a task can feel so big, and I'm here for it. I'm happy to provide that. So Parents, I know that it feels like at times you're like, well, what can I do? I see what my student is doing. Like, what can I do? How can I be supportive? And one way that you can be supportive, if you have not done this already, is to go take a tour of a college that is local with your student. Um, Go to University of Memphis. It's a fantastic tour. The same with Lemoyne-Owen. All of these colleges they all offer tours. More Tech offers tours. Ole Miss offers tours. Go to these colleges in this area and just take a tour. Your student might resist and say, I don't want to go to school there. Well, that's fine. Just go on a tour. Just see what you don't like about any of those schools. See what you do like, see what you find, like go curious and just take some notes. It's really interesting the things that they can learn. If you need to miss a day of school, I think your seniors are pretty good at identifying whether or not that's a wise decision and a possibility for them based on their workload and their courses. All you have to do is provide proof of a visit for an excused school absence. So again, like I just encourage you to get out there and go and check out these different campuses. The one that I hear often from students is like, well, my mom works at Rhodes, or I did a sports camp there when I was in middle school. And so I know the campus. And to that, I usually recommend going back because it's totally different when you go there wearing the lens of, can I see myself as a student here? What do they have to offer? Does this feel like it's the right fit for me? So I encourage you and your seniors to do that. But yeah. Yeah. And I want to, like I said, leave time for questions. Okay. I see a couple in the chat. If you have questions, you're welcome to drop them in the chat. Again, I so appreciate you all being here and listening. Oh, yes. Thank you, Brian Mallory. It's Liberty Park. Awesome. I appreciate that. I'm going to write that one down. Hopefully I can remember it for next time. Okay. And Mr. Childress said, okay, Dale Childress, if students have already taken the ACT and are satisfied with their score, is the October I'm guessing test optional? I I think that technically it can be optional, but we're going to encourage them just to give it a shot to see what happens. Like go in curious. Last time when they took it, it was here at school. It was in March and it was all on it was on their iPads. It was not on paper. And some students have taken it outside of school on what are called national test dates. And those tests are on paper. So it's a little bit tricky with, for them to figure out how to budget their time and then just reach that point of flow. Like, okay, I'm moving, I'm making momentum. And then maybe revisiting a question, like it's just a little bit different. So I don't know. I just am curious. I'm always encouraging students to like take it again, see what happens. Because you just never know. And two, oftentimes when they take it in October, they don't really remember some of them very clearly, but many of them don't remember the maybe the things that were going on with them on that day in March. They may have overslept. They may have, not slept the night before or whatever. So like I said, I just encourage them to come curious. And yes, I do see your message about studying to improve. Well, the nice thing is that there are some options and that there's some time. And truly, I've seen students who will do a study session weekly and they see improvement, in their experience with the test, whether it's the score or the experience altogether. Like, okay, I finished in this amount of time, or I didn't, leave any questions unanswered. So yeah, I just encourage them to be curious. And okay, so Ginger Foster says, when is the application deadline for Southwest? Okay, So their application window is long. There are lots of colleges that have long application windows. University of Memphis is one, and there are tons that are out of state that are basically they run on what's called a rolling admissions cycle. And so when a student applies, Southwest does not wait until January to tell them whether or not they're admitted. They immediately process that application and roll out the admissions notification, which is awesome because students like those rolling admissions are really helpful and really energizing to students at the beginning of the year. There are a couple of students, I'm excited to say, spoiler alert, there are a couple of students who have applied to some rolling admissions schools and just got their acceptances. I think one was maybe last Thursday or Friday, and another one over the weekend. And so when their peers see that, it's really inspiring and energizing. So that is a great, great thing about Southwest admissions. I believe that they will keep their window open until July, which is what most rolling admissions colleges do, is they'll say like, okay, we're opening it up August 1st, and then on July 1st, we'll close it. So yeah, I encourage you or your senior to look at that application. They're also welcome to come and work on that with me. I'm here for it all. I'm ready for it all. Oh, Dale, I said we are talking about, I know, and Thompson is amazing. And I have so enjoyed working with him and getting to know him. And I know that, you know, sitting and taking a test is nobody's idea of fun. But I know that he will persevere. I tell the students all the time, like, you made it, you did it, the crack did not form in the earth. You did not fall in. In fact, you are resilient. So I'm hopeful that Thompson will show up and just see what happens and come curious on that test day. I welcome more questions. You're welcome to either put them in the chat or you can unmute yourself too. Sorry, I didn't give that as an option earlier. All right. Well, you're welcome to throw them in the chat. You can email me questions if that feels like it's the right thing right now. But I really, really appreciate you all taking the time to be here. And, there's more. I think you know that, that there's more going on than just the things that we're seeing on the screen. And there are more things to come, in terms of, financial aid and, just making the decisions. And I just want you all to know that, or remind you all that I know that this whole process is really overwhelming when we look at it all at once. But that's one of the reasons why I kind of break it down into pieces so that it feels more manageable, both for, of course, for the students, but then also for parents too, because there's that scramble of like, what do I need to be doing at what time? Okay, a couple more questions. Do Southwest and More Tech offer a dorm? They don't. And actually, those Tennessee Promise colleges that they have on the list do not provide housing. And that is one really big difference between those colleges and say like going to a four-year college. The Tennessee Promise actually has like a list so long that I can barely manage it of schools in the state of Tennessee that that they are partnered with. And it's exciting when students see, oh, there's a partner school in Nashville or there's a partner school in Knoxville. And I do have to remind them, like, yes, they are a partner school for Tennessee Promise. However, you wouldn't have housing provided. You wouldn't have the option of a dorm. You wouldn't even have the option. It's not even that you'd have to pay for it. It's that you don't even have the option of like an actual school dorm. So it could be, okay, so like there could be a scenario where maybe you have a family member who lives in one of those cities, and that family member says like, yes, come on, come and stay with me. I need help with my dog anyway. And and we can work something out. And in that case, it could work for a student to go to one of those schools in another city. But I usually put the ones up for Memphis because of the fact that you know, we all live here and it's convenient, and our kids potentially could live at home while they are working their way through school. Do you know if Southwest has any partnerships with FedEx Aviation for Mechanics? I believe they do, and Tennessee College of Applied Technology definitely does. I'll have to look at those details, but I can send those to you because I think those would be a great fit. Yeah, for sure, for Mr. Pardue. That would be fantastic. I'll get some information together for that. Yeah, so I am excited for all of you. You know, I just think that your seniors are the best seniors, and I don't say that to everybody. But they really are. It's been amazing working with them when they were in 11th grade. And, you know, now that they are fully seniors, it is really exciting to see them enter into the school year, be such incredible leaders in our school community. Holy smokes. Like, we have never had leadership like this senior class at our school. It is really something special. And they set an incredible example for our other students, for our younger students. And I don't know if you've been, I'm, you know, some of you may have been in the car pickup line, but like the freshmen are little babies, they're teeny tiny. And your students, your seniors are absolutely setting the example for them. It's really, really, really special and beautiful to watch. So yeah, I thank you all for sharing your seniors, your kids with me as well, and appreciate all of your ears tonight. And yeah, when questions come up, please don't hesitate to send me an email. Like, this stuff is weird and complicated. And like I said before, it is clunky for a little while, and then it's going to kind of smooth out and the flow will smooth out. So if you feel confused about anything, email me. Like, I'm here for it. I know that when my own daughter was going through this process, holy smokes, the conversations about it were probably more challenging than the actual like tasks were. But yeah, if you need any help with any of it, I'm here for it. So yeah, I hope that y'all have a great night. And again, I really, really appreciate your time, and your questions. You know, they're really valuable to me. So have a great night. Be safe out there in the world.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.